Mr. President. Letter from Mr. President. Dear Distinguished Senate President, confirmation of appointment of OLUJIMI ABDULLAHI as replacement of the commissioner from Ekiti State at the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses Commission. In accordance with the provision of Section 3, Subsection 3, A ICPC Act, I write to forward for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of OLUJIMI ABDULLAHI, AIG retired from Ekiti State as Commissioner representing Southwest, replacing the earlier nominee at the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses Commission, ICPC. The nominee's CV is attached herewith. It is my hope that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominee in the usual expeditious manner. Please accept the Distinguished Senate President the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari.
Mr. President, my highly respected and esteemed colleagues, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to move this motion on the need to investigate the abandoned 400 billion naira National Primary Healthcare Center project. The Senate notes that a National Primary Healthcare Center project was initiated by the administration of the former President Obasanjo in the year 2006 to build in each of the 774 local government areas in Nigeria a 60-bed health centers, which was to be complemented with 3-bedroom flats, doctor's quarters, an ambulance, and all basic hospital equipment and drugs. The Senate further notes that in order to achieve this lofty project, the federal government deducted monies from the excess crude account of all the 774 local government areas on a monthly basis, whereas the same money with the then Platinum Abbey Bank, now Keystone Bank, until the funds required for the actualization of the project was realized. The Senate is aware that the bill of quantities for the project was prepared by the then Federal Minister of Works and Housing and approved by the Bureau of Public Procurement. The Senate further aware that despite all those professional pre-contract activities, the contract for the execution of the project in the entire 774 local government area in the country was awarded to Messrs. Martins Nigeria Limited without any known tendering and selection process. The Senate observed that Messrs. Martins Nigeria Limited proceeded and subcontracted out the job to consultants and subcontractors without any verification of capacity and capability to properly execute the jobs and without the consent of the government or its agencies involved in. The Senate further observed that the various sum of money were released to these subcontractors through the account of Messrs. Martins Nigeria Limited, domiciled with the then Platinum Abbey Bank, now Keystone Bank, to carry out the project at the selected locations across the 774 local government areas in the country. And the Senate is disturbed that many or some of these projects were commenced and abandoned at various stages, while the majority of them were never started, despite huge sum of money released to all subcontractors. The Senate accordingly resolved to mandate its Committee on Health and Primary Healthcare and Communicable Disease to undertake an investigation in order to determine the status of the 100% project fund warehouse with the then Bank PG, now Crystal Bank, determine the level of progress and status of the project in each of the 774 local governments, carry out evaluation of the consultants, contractors, and subcontractors that participated in the project, carry out a schedule of rehabilitation of the project, and recommend ways of completing this very important project nationwide. I so move, Mr. President.
I represent the good and decent people of Kwara North. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I rise to second this motion that there is need to investigate the abandoned 400 billion naira National Primary Health Care Center project. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, we have said here repeatedly that a good healthcare delivery to our people is one of the key legs that will help our development as a country. We have also made it abundantly clear, too, that all countries that have recorded successes in their healthcare delivery, whether United Kingdom, China, United States of America, India, name it, their success is directly tied to their primary healthcare services. Mr. President, my distinguished colleague, as I speak today, the key policy for primary healthcare in Nigeria is that every ward in Nigeria should have a functional primary healthcare center where our people can easily access healthcare delivery to be able to take care of maternal mortality rates that we are concerned about and all other related health issues. Mr. President, this project is a laudable project since 2006 to start that journey to implement that policy of a functional primary health care per ward with all the ancillary requirements, good quarters for doctors, ambulance, and so on. But what we have, this project has been abandoned for years. And I tell my colleagues here, if you take a cursory look at your constituency, you will discover that there are such projects dispersed everywhere. You won't even know what they are for, who has it, who is responsible. Some at lintel level, some at foundation level. But the good news is that we've discovered that right now, the contractors have been running around trying to fix some components, but it's a lot of components that cannot be accounted for. Therefore, Mr. President, we need to take this very seriously, investigate this, and make sure we know exactly what happened. Where is the money of the Nigerian people that the primary care center will seek to give our people never saw the light of the day?
I don't want to go into the merit that was inherent in this project by federal government under the presidency of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. The merit of it cannot be downplayed. But, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, this project, even in the Senate, came up for hearing, and a lot of our members that time, and indeed the National Assembly, they were very worried because every year when we who represent people come to Parliament, come to National Assembly, everybody wants to have one health facility established in his or her constituency. So this project really was supposed to lay the basis for the establishment of primary health centers in the 704 local government areas in our country. But unfortunately, all the local government councils that contributed their own statutory allocation to this project never got the benefit. And indeed, Nigerians never got the benefit. Only recently, some of the representatives of some of these companies that were awarded the contract came to some of our committees, Youth and Sports Committee, for instance. They came in still laying claim that they have not been paid. So if you see even this nice Senate, there are some committees that have been updated with one petition or the other concerning this project. So, Mr. President, I think this is an opportunity for us to really look into this matter dispassionately and put the blame where it is, because Nigerians have been shortchanged about this project. The money has been paid very substantially, but there's nothing to show for it. So I want to congratulate Senator Olori Egbe who brought this matter again to the fore. It's very urgent that this nice Senate, if anything, will be one of the laudable project of government that was never achieved, even though huge taxpayers' money was wasted on this project. And some of the persons who are connected with this, they have been trying to talk to people here and there, even in government, the executive arm of government, to see to it that they are compensated. They cannot be compensated when there is no work done. So this Senate will do good if we get our appropriate committees to look into the matter and bring the recommendation to this Senate so that we can be on the side of the people. Thank you very much.
ABIODUN OLUJIMI, Ekiti South. Mr. President, let me congratulate the mover of this motion, Senator Olori, for bringing this to the fore. Mr. President, this is a clear idea of genuine commitment to primary health gone wrong. There is no doubt that at inception, the construction of these primary health centers was a major thing for the country, and it would have helped our health care center and supported whatever fragile healthcare system we had in the past. However, it has turned very awry. Mr. President, I want to use the case of my local government as a point in question. Recently, I approached Senator Olori asking what is going on with these primary health centers. Because in my own local government, it was built, and there was a time a trailer load of equipment and drugs was brought into the local government. The king and everybody were ecstatic, and they went there to support the people who brought all this equipment and drugs. And of course, they brought them very late in the night. So people had to go back home. In the middle of the night, everyone was woken up with cries of a fire incident where those equipments were to be dropped at that primary health center. By the time the fire would be put out in the morning, there was nothing to show that one equipment or a carton of Panadol was dropped at the center. And the center had gone up in flames. And that is the situation till today. The place is riddled by reptiles and whatever. I had the opportunity of bringing a primary health care center next door to the facility. And I asked if I could renovate, refurbish, and collapse the two together because they would have to be run by the local government. That was when the local government told me it was sub judice and that no one could touch it because their funds were hanging in the balance. And I made inquiries and I found out truly that the deductions have been made. The primary health centers have not been handed out to anyone, and the place is just left to rot. In fact, recently there was a team that went on an evaluation spree. No report has been given since they went on that. Mr. President, this is one time to make good what we have said about the 9th Senate. The investigation must go on. We must be able to lay the blames where they should be really. And something good must come out of this. 440 billion naira, Mr. President, is something that would work well for our people in the health sector. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Senator CHUKWUKA, UTAZI.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, without belaboring the matter that is before us here, I want to join my other colleagues to see to it that the primary health care delivery in the country is enhanced. In saying that, Mr. President, I want to say that the bringing of this issue before us here is very timeless. It's very timeless because next week, Wednesday, at the Asaro Villa there, the Federal Minister of Health has convoked a meeting to address the issue of primary health care delivery in this country as far as it concerns the universal health coverage by 2020, its actualization in the country. So coming on the heels of this a very, very important convocation of a meeting at the ASROC, we have this issue. And I feel that if we rise to the occasion and get things done, that Nigerians will be better for it. The value for money will have been achieved. It is part of our job to investigate. It's part of our constitutional responsibility. I think Section 80 of 1999 Constitution has amended, has given us this power to inquire, to ask questions, and find solution to it. So, with this, I want to support this effort.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, let me align myself with the previous speakers and to commend our chairman on health and the chairman rules and business, who are the sponsors of this motion. Mr. President, let me reiterate once again that this motion is one of the people-centered efforts by this chamber. People-centered because when we say primary health, we are talking about small disease conditions that can be taken care of by those who are in the lower rungs of the medical profession. And it is when these little disease conditions are neglected that it grows into some of the pathetic sin we see many of our citizens suffering from. And I think to deny the existence of a robust primary health care center is actually like denying the life of our citizens. And Mr. President, as it has been said here, this noble objective of having a standard primary health care was well conceived, but of course, we all know, if you go around your senatorial district, almost every ward where this was supposed to be is littered with abandoned projects, and of course, it means these citizens are at the mercy of just anybody who thinks he has any knowledge, quacks and the like. And the implication is that we are compounding and complicating the subsequent disease conditions that we witness, especially among our citizens. And I think, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, if this investigation is to make any meaning, the committee, as recommended when we come to take the resolution, should be given all the support so that we can get to the root of how we got to where we are and to find a lasting solution. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it's not just about the building. And I think that is one of the areas also we have made mistake. What about the personnel? In many instances, you realize that even the training of the personnel, not much is happening. And today in some of the states, rooms are given to people to have quacks all over in the name of health workers. So, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I think this is a first start, and we should go the whole hog to make sure that what we are going to do in the long run is to have a comprehensive reform of the primary health care sector.
Mandate is committees on health and primary health care and communicable diseases to undertake an investigation in order to, one, determine the status of the 100% project funds warehouse with them Bank PHB, now Keystone Bank. Two, determine the level of progress and status of the projects in each of the 774 local governments. Three, carry out evaluation of the consultant, contractor, and subcontractors that participated in the project. Four, carry out a schedule of dilapidation on the projects. And five, recommend ways of completing the projects nationwide. Before I put the question on this prayer, I need to know how much time, because there is no time attached to anything here. And it can't be that we just give the committee the go-ahead to start doing this until the end of the session of the assembly. So we have to, no, 2 months is too long. No, within 6 weeks. So the mandate, I think it should be reworked. Mandate a joint committee on health, primary health care and communicable diseases, works, and housing. Isn't it? Okay. And of course, the investigation is within 6 weeks. I'm beginning to think we should have had an ad hoc committee because we are talking about 50 people already. And that's just too much. But let's leave it like this. It's already too big. So those in favor of the prayer as amended, the Secretary, please take note of the amendments done. As amended, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Committee on Health is the lead committee. Leader of the Senate. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the National Biotechnology Development Agency Establishment Bill 2022 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, Clause 1 to 34 as recommended, interpretation as recommended, short title as recommended, schedules 1 and 2 as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole also considered the School of Mines and Geological Studies, Akoko Edo Local Government Establishment Bill 2022 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, Clause 1 to 23 as recommended, interpretation as recommended, short title as recommended, schedule as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Yes. Thank you. The Senate also in the Committee of the Whole considered the Federal Medical Center Agboho, Oyo State, Establishment Bill 2022 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, Clause 1 to 25 as recommended, interpretation as recommended, short title as recommended, schedule as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. And lastly, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the Federal College of Education, Kiana, Nasarawa State, Establishment Bill 2022 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, Clause 1 to 21 as recommended, interpretation as recommended, short title as recommended, schedule as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you very much. Leader of the Senate.